Even though Shedeur Sanders doesn't require a hype man, Robert Griffin III gave him one in the most spectacular manner imaginable. Subtle compliments and cautious optimism were insufficient for RG3, who insisted that the Browns start Shedeur in the upcoming game. No accumulation, no exclusions, just a full-throttle push that ignited the sports conversation right away. The message was clear. Sanders is the only one who can turn around the Browns' current predicament. Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel? Not even in the conversation, Griffin said. This is a management chaos, not just a quarterback dispute. A straightforward hiring decision has become an existential crisis for the Browns. The issue raised by RG3 was not just about who gets the start, but also why they continue to pass up the one player who possesses the ideal combination of skill and energy. And the response?
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Draft politics, pride, fear of appearing incorrect, all except the performance. It appears that Cleveland's management is more concerned with maintaining their reputation than with saving the season. Sanders obviously has the tools that are ready for the locker room, which exacerbates the situation. He is a rookie, indeed. There will be bumps, yes. However, the quarterbacks on the team right now aren't contributing anything. Although Gabriel may be a future star, he currently appears to be a work in progress thrust into an unprepared spotlight. Flacco? His presence seems less strategic and more ceremonial. Sanders, meanwhile, possesses a conviction, vigor, and inspiring power that are sorely needed by this dying roster, but do not appear on the stat sheet. The noise is cut short by Griffin's demand. This is fundamentally about morale, not about mechanics or passing yards. The Browns are falling apart. Absence of urgency, passion, and leadership. Additionally, each delay in placing Sanders under center communicates to the team that management does not think the obvious solution is the best one. Every play, every sideline discussion, every unsuccessful drive is impacted by that kind of indecision. It's obvious that RG3 is attempting to wake the Browns from their stupor, not just to be provocative. He is aware that Sanders will eventually begin. That portion is unavoidable. He is yelling, however, that the Browns can no longer afford the luxury of waiting until it's too late. Giving a rookie a chance is not the point of this. The goal, one impassioned demand for Shedeur Sanders to start the next game for Cleveland Browns, has shaken up sports media, thrown fuel on quarterback controversy discussions, and exposed just how fragile things really are in Cleveland. RG3 didn't stutter. He didn't leave room for interpretation. He demanded action, and the ripple effect was immediate. The quarterback debate in Cleveland has been simmering all season. Fans have seen the same cycle play out: veteran placeholders, shaky rookie auditions, empty promises about development timelines. But now, it's boiling over, and RG3's demand pushed the pot off the stove. Because at this point, what are the Browns waiting for? Shedeur Sanders is ready. That's the foundation of RG3's entire argument. This isn't about hype. This isn't about clout. This is about what's painfully obvious to anyone paying attention. Shedeur is the spark the Browns need. Right now, not next season. Not once they're mathematically eliminated. Right now, the team's offense is flatlined. The chemistry is off. The locker room feels lifeless. And the quarterbacks who are starting aren't fixing any of it. Dillon Gabriel? Still developing. Joe Flacco? A stopgap from a bygone era. The Browns are trotting out quarterbacks who do just enough to justify their spot, but not nearly enough to turn the tide. Meanwhile, Shedeur sits, watching, waiting, not because he isn't prepared, but because the franchise is paralyzed by pride. And that's the core of RG3's frustration. This is no longer a debate about readiness. It's about ego. The Browns have a quarterback controversy born not of talent gaps, but of politics. They're clinging to draft positioning and depth chart loyalty like it's strategy. They're protecting reputations instead of prioritizing results. And RG3 wasn't afraid to call it what it is: mismanagement. There's no energy in Cleveland right now. No belief. And you can't fake that in the NFL. You can't manufacture fire from play-action rollouts and safe checkdowns. Teams take their emotional cues from their quarterback. And right now, Cleveland's emotional baseline is empty. That's what Shedeur changes. Not just on the stat sheet, but in the culture. He brings urgency, leadership, fire. He doesn't walk like a rookie. He doesn't talk like someone waiting for permission. And that presence, that is what RG3 was begging Cleveland to acknowledge. Because Shedeur isn't just a potential solution. He's a clear upgrade in all the ways that actually matter when your season's slipping. Belief, connection, tempo, trust. Yes, there will be rookie mistakes. Yes, the learning curve is real. But that's not the issue. The issue is that the Browns are actively choosing mediocrity over momentum. They're sacrificing progress at the altar of comfort. And RG3 refused to let that slide. His comments weren't just passionate. They were damning. He called out the Browns for a failure to lead, a failure to adapt, a failure to embrace the one quarterback on their roster who doesn't look like he's just holding the spot for someone else. Shedeur wants it. The veterans, they're managing it. There's a difference. And RG3 put every bit of that difference on display. In his eyes, the decision isn't just logical, it's overdue. The Browns don't just need to start Shedeur. They need to do it now to salvage what's left of a season already teetering on the edge of irrelevance. Because with every game they delay, the cost goes up, the losses pile up, the morale dips lower. The locker room sees the writing on the wall. And at some point, even if Shedeur starts, the environment may already be too broken to save. That's the real danger. Not that Shedeur fails, but that the team ruins his opportunity before he even gets it. Timing matters. Urgency matters. RG3 knows that from experience. He's been the guy brought in too late. He's been the guy expected to fix something already fractured. And he's trying to stop Cleveland from making the same mistake again. But so far, the team hasn't moved. They're still rolling out veterans. Still running predictable plays. Still holding back the one guy who might actually be able to wake the team up. And for what? To protect pride? To delay the inevitable? Because here's the other uncomfortable truth RG3 touched on. Shedeur is the future. Whether it's next week or next year, his time is coming. He's going to start. He's going to take over. That's already decided. The only thing Cleveland's delaying is the part where they start winning with him. And the longer they wait, the more painful the transition becomes. It doesn't have to be this way. This could be a turning point. A moment where Cleveland finally bucks the pattern, stops playing it safe, and chooses boldness over bureaucracy. Start the quarterback who believes in himself. Start the one the team wants to believe in. Start the guy who makes people lean forward in their seats. RG3 knows that feeling. He's lived it, and now he's watching Cleveland fumble it. Because whether the team admits it or not, the fans already see what's going on. They're not stupid. They've watched this cycle play out for years. They know the signs of a quarterback room that's out of sync, and they know what it looks like when management is more worried about optics than outcomes. That's why RG3's comment struck such a chord. Because he's not just speaking to the front office. He's speaking for the fans, for the players who won't say it, for the analysts biting their tongues, for everyone watching Shedeur rot on the bench while the team melts in real time. This isn't about controversy. It's about clarity. Start the quarterback who gives you the best shot, not just at winning, but at rebuilding belief. Shedeur isn't waiting for the game to slow down. He's waiting for the organization to speed up. And RG3's message couldn't be clearer. Stop dragging your feet. Stop pretending this season can be salvaged by playing it safe. Stop ignoring the one thing that could actually change the trajectory. Start Shedeur Sanders. Not to prove a point. Not to silence critics. But because it's the right decision. The only decision. Every second the Browns wait makes it worse. Every delay chips away at the team's ability to believe in itself. Every cautious press conference and recycled game plan is just another reminder that leadership isn't coming from the top. It's coming from a kid holding a clipboard. Cleveland doesn't need a miracle. They need a quarterback with guts, with vision, with voice. They have one. Now let him lead. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Shedeur start next game? Or is Cleveland making the right call keep him on the bench? And if you want more hard-hitting breakdowns, real-time drama, and raw sports truth without the fluff, make sure you subscribe. This story, it's not over yet. Not by a long shot. Every interview, every sports segment, every post-game show, Shedeur Sanders is a name coming out of everyone's mouth. And it's not just because of talent. It's because people are sick of watching a team refuse to act. Robert Griffin III pulled a pin on a grenade and tossed it right at Cleveland's feet. His message wasn't subtle. It wasn't coded in analyst speak or buried in stats. He demanded that Shedeur Sanders start the next game for the Browns. No disclaimers. No, maybe if the time is right. Just do it. And people lost their minds. Some fans cheered. Some shouted back. Analysts argued. Comment sections exploded. But the thing no one can deny? RG3 said what the franchise is too scared to admit. Cleveland is wasting time. They're wasting talent. They're wasting belief. And they're wasting the one quarterback on their roster who actually has the potential to lead a turnaround. This isn't about hope anymore. It's about refusal. Refusal to make the right call. Refusal to trust what's clearly working behind the scenes. Refusal to let go of bad decisions and do what's best for the team. Because yes, Joe Flacco has experience. Yes, Dylan Gabriel has flashes. But none of that is fixing the glaring problems on the field. The offense is stuck. The tempo is sluggish. The sideline energy is non-existent. The locker room is tight-lipped. And the scoreboard? Brutally honest. That's why RG3's call-out landed with such force. He wasn't speaking from theory. He was watching a team crumble in real time, with a solution standing right there in uniform, week after week, untouched. Shedeur isn't some mystery. He's shown leadership. He's shown command. He's shown the kind of presence quarterbacks need, not someday. Today, his teammates see it. The staff sees it. Fans can feel it through the screen. So why isn't he starting? The answer is ugly. Draft politics, veteran loyalty, and fear of being wrong. That's what RG3 was ripping into. He's not just mad that Shedeur isn't starting. He's mad that the Browns are pretending there's some deep, complex reason why. There isn't. They're afraid. Afraid to admit the guy they brought in as a development project is already more impactful than the guys they claimed were ready. Afraid to give a rookie the spotlight because of what it says about their previous decisions. Afraid to rock the boat, even though the boat is already halfway underwater. And now, everyone's watching. Every week Shedeur doesn't start adds more pressure, more criticism, more tension. If they start him now, they look reactionary. If they don't start him and the team keeps losing, they look delusional. There's no easy way out, but there's a right way out. Put the rookie in. Let him run with the ones. Let him lead the huddle. Let him fail if he's going to. But at least let him try, because what's happening right now, that's not trying. That's hiding. And in football, hiding is the fastest way to lose everything. This isn't a team with no talent. This is a team with no direction. That's the difference. And direction starts with a quarterback. RG3's not asking Cleveland to throw a Hail Mary. He's asking them to stop throwing sideways passes, to stop living in the what if, and start leaning into the what now. And that's the thing. He's not wrong. The Browns don't look like a team trying to build. They look like a team trying to delay a rebuild they know is inevitable. They've convinced themselves that stability means sticking with what's safe, even when it clearly isn't working. But real stability doesn't come from playing scared. It comes from having a leader your team believes in. And no one on that sideline, not players, not fans, not RG3, believes Joe Flacco or Dylan Gabriel is that guy. Shedeur might be. He hasn't thrown a pass in a game yet, and he already has more pull with a fan base than the others combined. That should tell you something. That should make your decision for you. But instead, the Browns are watching their season die in slow motion, refusing to give life the one option that might spark something. This is exactly what RG3 was screaming about. Not just bad football, wasted potential, wasted time, wasted opportunity. He's been in that position. He's seen what happens when franchises cling to pride instead of pivoting to purpose. He knows how fast a season can slip, how quickly belief crumbles when leadership stays silent. And Shedeur? He's not asking for a handout. He's not campaigning through media. He's doing what rookies are told to do. Keep your head down. Stay ready. Wait your turn. But how long is he supposed to wait? How many lifeless drives does he have to watch before someone says, "All right, let's see what you got"? It's not even a question of timing anymore. It's a question of courage. Does Cleveland have the courage to start a new chapter? Or are they too afraid of turning the page? And when that chapter eventually starts, because make no mistake, they'll have the answer for why it took so long. Why they let another season collapse when the guy who could have changed it was on the bench the whole time. That's where this is headed. RG3 just ripped the bandage off. This isn't a quarterback controversy. This is a credibility crisis. The front office is losing the benefit of the doubt. The coaching staff is losing the locker room's trust. The fans are losing patience. And it's all because they refuse to do the one thing that might actually fix it. Start Shedeur Sanders. Let him take the heat. Let him lead. Let him prove you right or prove you wrong. But at least give him the chance. Because right now, the alternative is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And everyone watching knows what that is. Insanity. RG3 sees it. Fans see it. The football world sees it. So what's the holdup? Start Shedeur. Or brace for the fallout when you finally do. And it's too late to save the season you could have rescued weeks ago. You're already being dragged for waiting. You're already under the microscope. The longer you delay, the worse it looks when you finally pull the trigger. So don't delay. Do what everyone knows needs to happen. Let the kid play. Let him lead. Let him be the star of the solution, not a symbol of how long it took to make the obvious move. Every snap Shedeur Sanders doesn't take as weight to Robert Griffin threes, already blistering critique. Every possession led by Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco that ends in a 3-and-out just validates RG3 more. He's not some outsider screaming into the void. He's the guy saying what the fans are screaming in their living rooms. He's the only one with a platform big enough and the guts loud enough to put the Browns on blast for what looks like willful denial. At this point, you're not just watching a quarterback controversy unfold. You're watching a team actively choose pain. Because let's be real, the Browns aren't fooling anyone. The excuses are running out. You can't keep spinning the development narrative when the current options aren't developing anything. Not rhythm, not scoring drives, not wins. The tape doesn't lie. The chemistry doesn't lie. And the scoreboard sure doesn't lie. So the question is no longer, is Shedeur ready? It's, how long are you going to pretend he isn't? That's what RG3s call out exposed. The disconnect between what the team knows internally and what they're afraid to admit publicly. And honestly, it's getting awkward. Every post-game presser that ends with more vague coach speak about evaluating position feels like a bad rerun. The only thing missing is the laugh track. RG3 didn't just strike a nerve. He broke the dam. Because his demand wasn't about media shock value. It was about accountability. It was about a franchise that's spiraling while the only guy who could possibly stabilize it hasn't been given a chance. And yes, Shedeur is a rookie. Yes, he's young. But guess what? Leadership isn't measured in birthdays or pro starts. It's measured in presence, command, confidence. And if you don't think Shedeur brings that, you haven't been paying attention. This isn't a guy who blends in. He's a tone setter. He's vocal. He's invested. He connects with teammates. He acts like a starting quarterback because that's who he is. The only ones who haven't caught up are the decision makers at the top of the organization. And that's the part that stings. This could have already happened. He could have already taken the reins, settled in, started building real in-game chemistry with the offense. Instead, the Browns are running out the clock on themselves. They're letting pride and perception override performance. And the worst part? Everyone knows it. There's no mystery anymore. No secret information. No private metric that justifies keeping Shedeur benched while the team crashes. The Browns are clinging to a quarterback hierarchy that's been exposed, unraveled, and outperformed by the guy they refuse to start. And you can feel the tension tightening. In the media, in the locker room, in the fan base. Every week Shedeur doesn't start. It chips away at the organization's credibility. Every passing game that sputters under Gabriel or Flacco makes the coaching staff look more disconnected from reality. And now that RG3 has pulled the curtain back, there's no more hiding behind the long-term plan excuse. The plan isn't working. The season isn't progressing. The offense isn't clicking. And the worst-kept secret in football right now, the Browns are holding Shedeur back because admitting he's the best option means admitting they were wrong about everyone else. RG3 saw it. He called it. And the reaction proved him right. Because the moment he dropped that demand, start Shedeur Sanders now, the floodgates opened. Social media lit up. Podcasts followed. Analysts piled on. And the Browns? Silent. Not a word from the front office. No clarification from the coaching staff. Just more of the same vanilla game plans and the same broken rotations. If they thought ignoring the noise would make it go away, they seriously underestimated how fed up people are. This isn't a trending moment. This is a turning point. And the window is closing. Every game they don't start Shedeur is a game they can't get back. Every drive they waste is a moment lost in developing the guy who could be the future face of the franchise. But instead of letting him learn through fire, they're keeping him cold. They're choosing paralysis over possibility. And that's what RG3 was screaming at. Not just the quarterback situation, but the mentality behind it, the refusal to adapt, the unwillingness to evolve, the obsession with being right instead of being honest. Shedeur is not the safe pick. He's the right one. And there's a big difference. The Browns didn't draft him to hold a clipboard. They brought him in because they saw something. Something special. Something foundational. Something they thought they could build around. So build around it. Let him lead. Let him learn. Let him become the player you hoped for, not the one you buried in a depth chart out of fear. RG3's frustration wasn't just about the quarterback room. It was about the opportunity cost, the waste of momentum, the emotional drain on a team that has no pulse. And Shedeur, he is the pulse. He brings energy. He brings fire. He brings hope. And you can't quantify that with a QB rating or a 40 time. You see it. You feel it. You know it. So again, what are they waiting for? The fans are ready. The locker room is watching. And now that RG3 ripped the lid off, the Browns are running out of places to hide. Start Shedeur Sanders. Not in a few weeks. Not when the season's already gone. Not when it's safe. Now, because the longer they wait, the more it'll feel like they never really believed in him to begin with. And when that happens, they won't just lose games. They'll lose trust. From the players. From the fans. From the people who wanted to believe this franchise was finally headed in a new direction. But right now, it's looking like the same old Browns. Scared of change. Paralyzed by pride. Watching the future from the sideline. So here's the question Cleveland needs to answer before the next snap, before the next loss, before the next press conference full of empty platitudes. Do you want to fix this? Or do you want to explain 3 months from now why you didn't even try? Let Shedeur lead. Or get used to watching him thrive somewhere else while you wonder what could have been. What do you think? Has Cleveland fumbled the quarterback situation beyond repair? Or is there still time to hand the reins to Shedeur before it's too late? Sound off in the comments. And if you're here for more unfiltered sports drama, quarterback chaos, and brutal football truths, subscribe now. The fire's just getting started. And the Browns? They're running out of places to hide.